How did you go from like just entering Web3 to being able to interview Trump?
Connect the right people. And that's what landed me Trump. Like, because you asked me the end thing was Trump.
Yeah.
How? Because a good friend of mine put me in touch with the team when they were looking for someone to Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
I made that friends by connecting with him.
Today's episode guest is a visionary leader in the Web3 space, driving innovation across platforms like Rug Radio, Myriad Markets, Decrypt Media, Lucky Trader, and Degens NFT. With a mission to build a media empire and onboard the masses into the Web3 world through accessible and community-driven experiences, he's redefining how media businesses operate. Introducing Farokh Sarmad.
How do you come to your conclusion?
It's tough, dude, you know? And you're right, because media tells you everything a certain way,
Yeah.
and then you see it your own way, you're like, what the hell? I keep going back to Donald Trump because it's a relatable thing because I was there. If you go by the media, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a racist. He's mean. He's horrible. Then I go to his house, the guy's fucking chill, bro.
Yeah.
He was so nice to me. We chatted a little bit before the interview. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So nice.
Welcome back to the Lock-In or Log-Off podcast, where I speak to builders, creators, and traders to understand how they spotted the opportunity and how they navigated their way to success. And today, we're joined by Farokh, man. How are you doing?
BJ, like they say in France. I'm good, man. I'm good. Just got off stage with Luca. We're vibing, you know. NFT Paris, always electric. It's my hometown. Just love being here.
What is it like to be back in Paris?
I love it. I was born here. We migrated to Canada like 20 plus years ago. But so every time I come back, it's special, you know?
Very nice. That's actually like how I like to start off these shows, is to understand a little bit kind of who you were before Web3. Because like, man, your journey in Web3, there's so much to dive into. But I think a lot of people don't know the story kind of pre-Web3. So yeah, I guess what was your life like before Web3?
I've kind of always like been doing the media shit, right? Like I've been doing this for half my life. Literally, I'm 30. I started social media at 14. Yeah. And I started monetizing social media at 16. So I've been doing it, you know? Man, I was just like a kid from Montreal, you know, I had a passion for cars, watches, architecture. Started a luxury blog called Mr. Good Life. You've probably heard of it.
Yeah.
It was really big back then on Tumblr, 2011, because I was bored of studying. And I started a blog, and, you know, I was like, wow, like this social media thing's cool. I'm going to build an audience, and one day I'm going to make money, because I didn't have money. So I don't come from it. I don't have it. I didn't have it, you know, the good stuff. And I was like, yo, like, I feel like, you know, there's something there. So I started a luxury blog because I love luxury. And then one thing led to another. Then this Instagram thing came about. Like, wow, this is really nice. And all day long, people are like doing this. And I'm like, well, how do I monetize this? Because we're not doing this anymore. We're not watching TV. We're watching this. So how do they take this and put it here? Right. So then I went to Instagram in 2014. I moved good. Then Mr. Good Life became Good Life on IG, and I built a network of pages on Instagram. So I went from 0 to 10 million followers between 2014 and 2016, and I started a business out of it. Yeah. And so I did that from 2014 to 2020. 2020, COVID hit, Clubhouse came about. I'm like, wow, this is even better. Voice, but voice like that.
Yeah.
In my underwear at home, lounging, chilling, smoking a joint, whatever, you know what I mean? And I could be doing my own thing. And that's when I realized, I'm like, wow, I have a voice, and I want to share my thoughts, and I want to build my brand instead of other people's brands, because I started a social media agency on Instagram in 2014, and I monetized the fuck out of it, obviously. And that's how I built my first business. Right. And so but I was building other people's brands. So I work with the likes of Gary V's of this world and all those personal brands. Right. So I would sell shout outs and this and that. Right. So I was just a kid slanging like $10 shout outs on Instagram. Right. Remember all the movement watches and the bracelets? Like we started all this stuff. Right. We started selling ads to these people back in 2014, right? And so I started out like that. So I went from like selling $10 shout outs on Instagram to $1,000 packages, to $10,000 packages, to $100,000 deals, right? So over the span of like 6 years, and all this led me to Clubhouse, which helped me really find my voice, you know, like no pun intended, like I know it's a voice chat and everything, but it really helped me, you know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, like I have a voice and I want to build my own brand, you know, I want to do me, right? And I want to build a business around that. And so, man, like 2 months into Clubhouse, so I got into Clubhouse in November 2020, but I was like addicted, like 16 hours a day. I would run Clubhouse rooms around like 36 hours straight. Damn. It was nuts. I slept for 4 hours in between. And basically, I found NFTs in February 2021, and then I'm sure we'll get into that, but that's how I pivoted to that. But yeah, before NFTs, before crypto, I was just like, you know, like you know, I was doing my thing, was trying to build a brand, trying to get out there, trying to make some money, trying to hustle, you know, and all that while being in law school.
Damn.
That's why a lot of people don't know about me. Is like actually like at 17 years old, I went straight to law school. So I graduated from a French system, which means that you graduate earlier, like young, right? Like 17, 18 years old. And I skipped the undergrad So I went straight to law school at Université de Montréal in Montreal, and I was building that business while I was in university.
And when you were building that business and it gained so much traction, was there ever a thought where you're like, I want to leave university? Like,
I did.
Did you?
But 4.5 years in. So I actually,
Damn.
I had 1 semester left
Damn.
to law school. I was double majoring in law and international relations. So I did 2 years at University of Montreal, 2 years at University of Quebec in Montreal, UQAM. And then, so at first I was studying because, Persian mom, you gotta be a lawyer, super pressure. So I went to law school, but I was miserable, bro. Like that shit was hard. Like law school is tough. But the funny thing is I've done every single class you need to pass law. And then the last semester, it's a throwaway shit.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Why? Because I was doing good and I was making money. Right? Because at first you don't make that much money, but you're like making money, like not millions, but making 6 figures, a year, like as a 21-year-old, something like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, like what am I doing here? Everyone around me is burnt out. Everyone around me is depressed. Most of the people I went to law school with are not even lawyers today, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so tough. And then that's when I realized, this is not for me. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I always was. Like since I was a kid, I was selling Pokemon cards, trading hockey cards, doing my thing, like literally like a kid. And I always had that in me. And so, I dropped out on my last semester, but I went through it all and I'm super happy I did.
And you say like you're super happy you did, and like you went through it, but you didn't get the final exam. What did you learn during that period? Like, how is it also shaped now? You're acquiring businesses, like having that law knowledge, I'm sure is pretty helpful with those negotiations. Like, how has it helped you up till now?
Going to law school is the single best thing I've done in my life.
Damn.
And I encourage people to study. I'm not the type that say, yo, go make money, drop out. I hate that shit. My brother just graduated law school. My little brother, he's passing the bar right now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, shout out Cyrus. But the thing is, like, it taught me everything as a businessman.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, I couldn't afford lawyers. When I was doing my business, the good life stuff, and I had to read contracts or write contracts and NDAs, I would write my own. Yeah. I would go online, find contracts, example, piece them together. I would do them together. I would read contracts. Even one day I got out of $1 million deal. My first $1 million deal, I broke it. Because at the end of the contract, there's an exclusivity clause. At the end of it, how did I catch that? Because I went to law school, I knew what to read. You know what I mean? And so that background gave me a lot of knowledge. And now, of course, the Rug Radio, Decrypt, Dastan, our parent company, we have lawyers. But dude, like lawyers are expensive. So it's good to have that knowledge. So sometimes you don't ask the stupid questions that cost you $1,000. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it helped me a lot, man. It really, 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 really helped me understand society and how society functions, because there's a code of law, and the code of law taught me how society works and helped me become the businessman I am today, I think.
That's incredible. But being a lawyer, like they pretty by the book, right?
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like, exactly
that's
what you're
allowed
allowed
to
to do.
for me, bro.
Like, so like when you've now become an entrepreneur, like you can't, especially in our industry, like damn man, you chose to like become an entrepreneur in like the least legislative industry ever. How have you managed to, like, as a person, go away from like those instincts of like by the book? Because like in many ways you have to like go into unterritorial water in Web3 to like build amazing businesses. How have you navigated that?
I'm fascinated by that. I love building in the gray zone, in the gray area, right? I being an ex-law school student, like I love the fact that I'm seeing the law get pieced together as we go. Like right now with Trump in control in the USA, there's finally like more legislation and framework that's going to come. Like I asked him that question, right? When I interviewed him, I said, hey, is there going to be legal framework in America for crypto? So I'm really fascinated by that. And I find that really cool. Of course, it's very hard as a founder that has, responsibility towards, your employees and the team members. Like we have over 40 people that work with us at Dastan. So it's very tough, but I don't know, man. I just love it. It's the thrill of it, right? I can't be in the boring place. That's why I didn't want to be a lawyer. Yeah. When I was 18, I scored a job for one of the best lawyers in Montreal. And I was kind of just, the kid outside, like, helping do the research stuff. It wasn't for me. Yeah. It wasn't for me because it's too by the book. Yeah. I don't like the by the book stuff. Some people like it. That's good for them. But I gotta, left curve, right curve, so that's what I love the most about this industry. Yeah. There's so much opportunity for those who like left and right curves, like we've seen. But going back to like that period, what, like, you seem pretty self-aware and like to take that risk and realize like being a lawyer wasn't for you. What did you learn being an entrepreneur, like pre-Web3? What were the biggest lessons? Like we have a lot of young people in this industry that want to build their own businesses, but I guess like, there's just so much to learn on the kind of ground. What were your biggest lessons pre-Web3 as an entrepreneur? You got to figure it out on your own. Yeah. Nobody helped me. And you can't also expect people to help you. I'm not saying, nobody help me. Fuck this. You got to figure it out, dude. I had $200 to my name when I started my business. I was like, fuck it. How do I figure it out? I got to help myself. I got to help my family. It's just my mom, my brother. It's like, I got to make money. Back's against the wall. You got to figure it out, dude. you know? And there's endless pool of opportunity in this world. And it's not just woo-woo quotes for Instagram motivation here, right?
Yeah.
Like it's dead ass, like what I did. And so that was what really got me going. You know, and that's why if you're listening to this and like, you know, aspiring entrepreneur, even like you're a hard worker, you got a job and everything, like you got to figure it out on your own. Like you can't expect people to come and save you, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's that whole thing of like, you have to take full accountability for every single thing
Own
that
it.
comes. Yeah.
You know?
Like no victim mentality. Like every good and bad, you've got to go through it and really like, yeah, take ownership. And I think once you like kind of change that perception, even like the things that go badly are somewhat easier to handle. You're just like, okay, I'll deal with it. And once you've dealt with a few, become more
Figure it out.
confident and
Ask
and
for
work
help, delegate, you know, build a team, surround yourself with the right people. You know, all this advice that people will tell you all the time is true. You know, stay consistent, you know, keep at it, you know.
And in terms of like you made pretty good wealth from a pretty young age. What motivates you as an entrepreneur? Because like a lot of people start to become entrepreneurs or see the life of entrepreneurs for like the wealth side of things. Does money motivate you, or what motivates you?
Nah, money's I love money, obviously. I love being able to like do cool things. I love to be able to travel, stay in nice hotels, you know, spend some time with my fam, do cool shit. That's fine. That's cute. That's fun. That's just, but it's not it's never been my main driver. You know, at the end of the day, money puts food on the table.
Yeah.
So people who say money doesn't matter, just don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Money matters. Okay. But I always aspire to be happy first. Does money bring happiness? It helps. But if you built for money, you're not going to make money, or you're going to make some, but you're never going to fully max out your potential.
Yeah.
Right. But you gotta build with purpose, right? And intent and positivity. You know, you gotta do your thing, be happy, stay healthy, focused, and then money will come. You know, that's how I've always approached it. Cause that's just, it's a reward. It's like points on the scoreboard, right?
Yeah.
Your bank account. And that just comes with, dude. Genuinely.
Yeah, I think it's like a byproduct of like doing something
I was
amazing,
looking for
right?
that word. That's it. It's a byproduct.
Yeah, of doing like building really cool stuff. But like, if money's not your motivator, what is Farokh? Like, what gets Farokh up every morning? Because you're doing like a million different things, and to a high level, what gets you up every morning to like and excited about things?
I genuinely always thought I would change the world, dude.
Yeah,
I since I was a kid, like 14 years old, I'm like, one day I'm gonna change this world. I want to impact. I used to always say that back then. I was like, I'm gonna make $1 billion, but I'm also gonna change 1 billion lives. That was always my thing. I don't know why. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just love what I do. Like I just love living.
Yeah.
I love my life. And I love living it, and I love the people I'm surrounded with. I love what we're doing here. I love, you know, I have a lot of team members out there. You know, I just, you know, I don't know, dude. I wake up and I'm hyped. You know,
you do. You bring so much energy to like everything you do, and like it's incredible. Like I have to ask though, like, has there any been moments where like you've been like, damn, like I'm really struggling, like especially in Web3, because like Web3, like during the bear market, a lot of people got really
Tough.
down. You can have massive losses, like alongside massive wins.
I
Like,
did that.
how do you like? Have you had moments of like real like struggle in Web3? And I guess like how did you navigate those?
Yeah, man. Last weekend, this 5 days ago. What day are we?
Yeah.
Wednesday? Yeah, the weekend before this, I was like, I'm taking a 48-hour break from CT all the time. It's normal. We all burn out. I burn out like twice a year.
Yeah.
Because I push. You see me, right? Push. And then you burn the candle. I was talking to Tony Fadell about this in between the interviews, so it wasn't on the record. But he was also saying, like, you burn the candle a little bit. Tony Fadell is the founder of the iPod, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you burn the candle, you burn it. But then it's about how you recover. So I believe in that. I believe in burning it's not for everyone, so I'm not giving advice here.
Yeah.
But me, I can handle it, right, mentally. And I'm very healthy. Like, I work out 4 to 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I eat healthy. I follow a healthy routine. I make sure I get my 8 hours. I go my OR ring, tracking all my shit. Right? Sponsor me. But it's I burn the candle, and then I have to take hands off. But yeah, it happens all the time, dude. Like, it's normal.
Yeah. I think that's the problem. Like, I feel like the timeline,
Especially in Web3.
yeah, the timeline loves glorifying like everything's going great, or like they go down the route of like everyone, like at the moment it's super toxic.
Everyone's burnt out. Trust me.
Yeah, super toxic right now. How do you like? Obviously, you took time away from the Twitter timeline. What is your perspective on the Twitter timeline in general? Because I think it's such a hot topic. Like, what do you see? There's like actual like really good value in the Twitter timeline, or is like it's just for facade kind of thing?
There's never been such high amount of noise and low amount of signal in the history. Because first of all, one of the reasons that, and that pertains to what you and I are doing, just too much creation. Everybody's a creator. All you need is the Twitter phone, internet connection. So with too much noise comes less positive signal. And so you have to really cleanse your timeline at all times, like your life. Do you eat McDonald's every day, 3 days a week? No, right? So why would you consume fucking trash all day long?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that? So you have to really create your timeline the same way that you create what you eat. what you drink. Do you drink alcohol every day?
No,
you don't. But why would you consume trash every day? Why? Why do you subject yourself to that? Right? And by you, I mean the listeners, yourself, myself. And it's like you have to be very careful. So I'm mindful about the people I have on notifications to consume the content. Right? I'm mindful about the people that I follow. I'm mindful about the people I mute. I'm mindful about the people because the algorithm feeds you stuff that sometimes you don't want to see. So you mute. Yeah. It's okay. And then you go back to their page when you consume their content. Time to time, I mute people. And then I'll mute them. Just because I've mastered that, right? Because I've been doing it, like I said, for 15 years. But not a lot of people are in my position. So it's easy for me to say, but it's harder to apply. And so it's very important that you're very mindful of your mental health, your physical health, but your mental health above all, because that's what helps you do everything else.
I actually wanted to go into both mental and physical health because I've been like following you on Instagram and I've also seen like you're religious.
That's all I post there now.
Religious with your workout scheme, and I've like grown up like that. I train. If I don't train like 5 days a week, it actually really affects my mental health. Like I've got to be doing some sort of exercise. But how have you found being so religious with your training impact both your mental side of things, but also from a business perspective? Like people tend to sacrifice when growing their businesses, everything else. What is your perspective on that?
Now, I mean, I've been there. 21, I was unhealthy as fuck. Like first cycle in crypto, I was 20 pounds heavier, bro. I was 176. I don't know what that is in kilos, but it's way heavier for me, like on the little guy, right? It's like you could see it. And I had backaches, aches above my heart all the time that would go in. I beat myself up. So I'd done that. Yeah. Right. And then I was like, what are you doing? Bear market. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start. So going now I track my workout. So I have a thing where I want to work out 50% of the year. So last year did I achieve it last year? No, I nearly did. I did 171 workouts. This year I'm good. I'm at 26 already, but and that's while traveling. So there's no excuses. I did 30 trips. I travel around the world. Like I'm going from Paris to Hong Kong back to Montreal. Like I travel around the fucking world and I still manage to do this. So there's literally no excuses, right? Yeah. And while traveling, my goal is 2 a week because it's tough, right? Doing all this. While I'm home, I try to do 5 a week. It's affected everything in the most positive way ever. Like when I'm really tired, when I'm burnt, put a workout in. Yeah. Even if it's just to go walk on a treadmill, brother. Even if it's just go cycle on the bike and the lift, there's nothing that feels better.
And I find like whenever I go gym, like that's when my creative thoughts come through the best.
Whenever I'm really burnt,
like, damn.
That's how Locks, the CEO, Ilan, my guys, I'm going for a workout. I gotta go for a workout. I bet go for a workout for an hour, come back and you're fresh. Yeah. You're so and especially, you know when I love working out is when I don't want to.
Yeah. Because then after best. Yeah, the dopamine effect is like that is pure dopamine, not like scrolling. Like after workout is an amazing feeling. But yeah, I think it's so important, especially in Web3. It's so easy to have unhealthy habits, and I think those who like are able to do it for a long period kind of find that balance. But going a little bit outside of that, Naval Ravikant speaks a lot around leverage, and he mentioned there's 2 forms of leverage that are basically infinite in terms of code and media. You're obviously in the media business massively. What is your perspective on just the media industry at the moment, but also like your focus on how you see media as a leverage? Obviously you work with a lot of brands, but yeah, what is your, I guess, strategy behind that specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I love media, dude. I've been doing it my whole life. Like I said, it was a way for me I always believed that media was going to be my gateway to becoming a billionaire. Like when I was a kid, I was like, how do I become a billionaire? Yeah. I was like, well, what do billionaires love? Media. Elon bought X. Benioff owns Time. Bezos owns Wall Street Journal. Okay? Yeah. They love it. Yeah. Why? Because it's not a business that makes money. Media is a horrible business to run. It's tough as fuck. It's very hard to make a profit. Even us, like, we did what, like $7 million last year in revenue over at Decrypt Rock Radio? Even that's like break even. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough, dude, because you have like 15 employees, right? And you have to pay this. It's a lot of manual labor. It's very tough. But I always loved it because, like you said, and like Naval says, right, it's a leverage to something much bigger, right? And that's how you get to Donald Trump's house, right? And an interview and this and that. So media is great. It's a great industry to be in, and I think that for a long time, and Elon talks about this a lot, they destroyed it. They polluted it.
They just manipulated it all, right? Like it was never actually for like people who are consuming it. It was not actually for their benefit.
Not at all.
It became a massive like tool for like
dude. After my Trump interview, I got interviewed by every single mass media, and a lot of them, I can tell you right now, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Even the way they ask the questions, even the way they attack you, even the way they approach things, even the way they trick
They
you.
either want something really bad or like insanely great, but normally really bad because the triggers
Ask you the
better
question
viewership.
17 times. I already answered it, but they want you to say a specific thing. But for me, like I want to revolutionize media. And I think there's a reason why I ended up in crypto, because this industry is revolutionizing the planet. Whether it's finance, tech, media, everything is being changed in this industry. And what I like about Rug Radio is power to the creator, power to me, power to you. And that's why I founded Rug Radio, because I have a voice and I believe that real media, and it's funny that now Elon coined it as citizen journalism. We've been doing this. You are one of those, right? And so we've been delivering the news, and people like trending towards podcasts more, which is why those podcasters are becoming billionaires now. The Nelk Boys, all that shit, right? And they're at the forefront. Trump is allowing podcasters apply for press passes, right? This is crazy. This is a paradigm shift that I called 10 years ago. This is finally happening, right? And with Decrypt, the beautiful thing about Decrypt is that it's neo-journalism, right? You have all these amazing, proper journalists. So we're not journalists. You and I are creators. Journalism is beautiful. It's really tough. I'm never going to call myself that because it's so tough to do, but it's got to be done right. And I see them writing about new tech. Media doesn't want to write about crypto unless it's a negative light or about a fucking shitcoin, right? Or about what Trump's doing. Great. But there's not just that, dude, right? And then the other side of it, that was what taps into Myriad, right? I was telling you that media is failing to monetize, right? A lot of the big media companies are broke, by the way. And so the thing with Myriad is I think that we're going to revolutionize the way you consume media, but also the way you monetize media as a company. So you are a creator. You create content. People consume your content. You read the news on Decrypt. But polling, right, through prediction markets is a good way to get real consumer sentiment and how the people feel. Trump, the elections. Polling market had it first. Landslide Trump. But everybody had the media had Kamala. What happened there? The people prevailed. The people were right.
It's the most accurate thing, right? The news articles is one guy writing something, whereas like a poll is like millions or like hundreds of thousands all kind of putting in their opinion. And those are often the people that have the input into the outcome, right?
And it's also a good way for us also to monetize that, right? So you make a revenue on the volume that's being traded, etc. So not only does it allow us to build a positive revenue mechanism for the media company, but also allow us to deliver proper media to the people. So you can either listen to the creator, read the news, or see what the people feel and think and how they stake their reputation on chain. It's the best way to do it. So that's why I love about this industry, man. Like we can do so much stuff with it. Yeah,
it's incredible the innovation that can come from it. But I want to go back a little bit in terms of the evolution of media that you're speaking about, and especially on the podcast side. Like podcasts, like in many ways, a lot of people gave Trump the win because of his input on the podcast. Like going on with you and winning the crypto market, he went on so many others. And like, the power seems to be like, I mean, everyone knows that Joe Rogan has like a bigger audience than most news outlets. What is your perspective on like media now being individual creators over institutions themselves?
I love it, dude. Literally called this shift. Like everyone who knows me knows I've been saying this for 15 years. That's why I went that way. I literally, even like 15 years ago, I was like, yo, 2020s is going to be a decade of the creator. I'm sure if you go through my Instagram post from years ago, you can find me writing about this shit. And I was saying something along the lines like, we're going to see influencers becoming billionaires. And here we are. Mr. Beast, Logan Paul's, all these guys are slowly becoming it through their brands. The Nelk Boys, I love those guys. Shout out to Shots and that whole network. But, you know, it's just like, it's happening. But now, it doesn't mean now, because we can't get too extreme either. Like they got extreme on the media side before. That doesn't mean that creators are the source of truth. That doesn't mean that prediction markets are the source of truth. All of this is a source of truth, and it's always to the person on the other side of the camera to discern what to make their own judgment of what's real and what's not, right? Because not all podcasts are good. Not all creators are equal. No, just because you're a creator doesn't mean you're what you're saying is right.
100%, and I think that's so true. But my biggest worry is like I feel like people have lost their ability to make their own judgment. Like I know. Like even like my older generation, like my dad, like he for a very long time he took the news as a source of truth.
So does my family. So did I.
Yeah, so did I. Like no, don't get me wrong. I didn't. Like I think I saw a little bit of the transition earlier because obviously I'm younger and I saw the thing. And I was like, then we started telling him like, no, go on X and you'll get a much more clear and holistic view on like all these different topics. And he started.
You get all the views on X,
and probably too many. But like. I think like one of the rarest traits in just anyone in this world right at the moment is like being able to discern their own judgment on any topic. How do you, what is your judgment? Like, how do you go through your own thesis when looking at something, whether it's acquiring a business or just anything, or even like political, everything like that? How do you come to your conclusion? Like,
it's tough, dude. You know, you're right. Because media tells you everything a certain way, and then you see your own way, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I keep going back to Donald Trump because it's a relatable thing because I was there. If you go by the media, He's an asshole. He's a racist. He's mean. He's horrible. I had this conversation last night with someone because everybody asked me, wow, is he? And then I go to his house. The guy's fucking chill, bro. It was so nice to me. We chatted a little bit before the interview. It's so cool. So nice. Obviously, he's nice to me because there was a purpose, but also like I could see like he was a good guy.
Yeah.
You know? That's my own judgment. And so and that proves to you that you got to make your own judgments. You got to trust your instincts and you got to try it. Sometimes you're going to follow the herd the wrong way. I've done it a million times. You know, I followed the herd and I thought the herd was right. And I realized, wait, they're not. But I think in crypto, like the crypto folks listening to you, like they tend to make their more, crypto people, because they're so on the edge, right?
Yeah.
Of this technology, we're talking about the laws, like you're so on a different spectrum there that it's, we tend to make our own judgments, I feel, because we consume on X, let's say, but it goes both ways. I think, I guess you just got to go and figure it out for yourself, man. But you got to break the matrix, you know, like, you got to break through that.
Yeah. You have to take the time out and not take anyone's word with too much weight, I think.
Yeah.
But in terms of how, like, I mean, you went from, coming into the space as a pretty good entrepreneur to interviewing Trump. How have you built your personal brand? Like, you obviously have loved media for so long. You're a huge believer in personal brand. What are the few, like, major things that you had as, like, specific rules when growing your brand, whether it's, like, the brands you work with, whether it's the type of content and the quality of content you produce? How did you go from, like, just entering Web3 to being able to interview Trump? Like, what key things did you consider?
Dude. Like when I got into the space, I was like, so I don't believe in competition at all. Never in my life. I hate it, but I believe in total domination. And when I got into the space, I was like, I'm going all in. And I'd literally close my business the next day. I found out what NFT was. The next morning, I shut it down.
Damn.
Fired all my clients. Made no money the first 2 months in crypto. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to build my own thing. And I don't know, bro. It's the same consistency I've had for the last 15 years. That's how I got to this point. It's just like you want to connect with the right people. I think that's the best way. That's how I really, like, you know, I could tell you all this stuff about being consistent and stuff, but that's whatever. You guys know this advice. Connect the right people. When I got into the space, I was like, who are like either the most powerful people, the most successful people, the brands you want to associate with? Yeah. You know, and I DM people. I become friends with people. You know, become friends, mingle. People like to hate on conferences, bro. This place is jam packed, bro. You know, go connect with your favorite founders. Like, there's people lining up to meet me. And I think that's a good thing because maybe you won't get my attention on Twitter, but you get me for 5 minutes here and let's talk. And sometimes I meet some of my best friends like that, you know, go meet people, get out there, connect with people. Like, it's important, right? And so that's what I did. I connect with all the people. And that's why landed me Trump. Like, you asked me the end thing was Trump. How? Because a good friend of mine put me in touch with the team when they were looking for someone to do Twitter Spaces. I made that friends by connecting with them. And those people knew me from my past life, and they knew me because of FOMO Hour, the morning show that we host, and they loved the show. They're like, wow, this is a legitimate podcast, right? So it's just by doing the thing and also putting yourself out there, man. Like, you can't, like, imagine being a creator and being scared of creating. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, like, if you want to do the thing, then go do the thing, you know? Yeah.
There's like, I think there's like a Chris Williamson, like, quote is like, he has a list of things that are like, doing the thing that's not doing the thing. And it's like procrastinating, thinking that you'll do tomorrow. Like,
do the thing.
Just get like, kind of take the action as such. But going in a little bit to like outside of that side of things and going into the brands you've built. You've obviously gone into the acquisition world quite a lot. What do you look for in businesses that you want to acquire? Like, what are the things that you like, that is a good one?
I'm a sucker for a good branding. I think I'm obsessed. It's fucking fresh. We redid the Decrypt logo and the Myriad. So sick. We acquired Lucky Trade and DJs also recently. So I think the best example was the M&A we did with Decrypt. A gem in the rough. Decrypt, second largest news site in terms of traffic in crypto after CoinDesk. I'm pretty sure we're going to be number one this year. Wouldn't be surprised if we're number one in January, but I don't have it's tough to get people's numbers, right?
Yeah.
But we're up there. We did over 5 million visits last month. We do 50 million plus visits a year. We do like, it's absurd the amount of time people spend on Decrypt, right? It was quoted on Joe Rogan. It was quoted on Oliver, all these guys, right? It's like the news site for crypto now, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, damn, this is like the best news site. Yeah. I was a biggest fan of Decrypt before even owning Decrypt. Yeah. And so we looked at it like, listen, it's tough to monetize a media brand. It's tough to do this and that. It's very human capital heavy, like a lot of employees, but it's like a good brand and it's got a lot of eyes on it. Yeah. So I usually it's for attention, right? You look for attention, you look for how many eyes are on it in media and stuff like that. I can't tell you like for the other M&As for outside of my industry, but for me in media, it was like really like the eyes, the traffic is getting, the respect that the brand has. Because Rug Radio was a baby. Is a baby. It's 3 years old. But at the time, it was only exactly 2 years old when we merged with Decrypt. To build what they've built, it took $15 million in 7 years. That's exactly how much they spent to build this fucking thing. Yeah. In 7 years. I bought myself 7 years of building and $15 million by merging with them. Yeah. Right? And so that was really, at the end of the day, the decision. I called Lux. So Elon right there, he's a co-founder of Decrypt and Lux is our CEO. And he was our CEO at Rug Radio before. He's the CEO of the parent company now.
Yeah.
And it was over Christmas. And I was like, Lux, we either fucked this up or it was a diamond in the rough. 3 months later, I called him. I said, dude, we cooked.
It was a diamond.
That was a diamond, right? And it worked out pretty well. So you really got to trust your gut, but you got to see it from, so he approaches it more from like a cash flow business. Like that's why he's a CEO, right?
Yeah.
So he looks at the paperwork. Me, I approach it more from a vibes perspective, almost like, you know,
Vibes.
and then Lucky Trader is way smaller, but it's like, dude, like Tyler, cook, right? Top 20 mind share everywhere. You know, he's king of yaps, right? But you know, he's good. He's got a podcast. I'm like, this guy would be a good addition to my podcast because Ovi was leaving to focus on Rect. And then by doing that, they approached me like, well, do you want the just want to acquire us, you know? And I was like, well, they got a good baggage of investors. They got what? It was small. It's just like 10,000 people on the newsletter, but it's good for what we were trying to build, Myriad. So that's a bolt-on acquisition. So it's not an insane business. We do more traffic in a day in the crib that we do in the month, but it doesn't matter because it had a good branding. It was known. And it's the message that you sent to the people. So that was more for the biz. That's more for the visual. It's like, oh, wow, they're acquiring more. And DGens, Ovi and Mando started it. They're busy with Rect. He's busy with Epic and all the stuff that he's building. So they have to run it. So that's another bolt-on acquisition. So they have data, all this stuff. People use it to see NFT prices. Myriad. So you just got to always have a North Star. Our North Star now is Myriad above all. That's the quote at the company. Myriad above all. So everything that we own and that we do has to drive value to Myriad upwards. So attention. You have Rug Radio creators. Decrypt news. Lucky Trader is like Tyler and all this stuff. DGen is data. Everything has to flow back to Myriad. So that's how we approach the M&As.
Interesting. And I assume the reason all flows back to Myriad is because you see prediction markets as one of the best businesses in
it's going to be our revenue gen. So if we have 25,000 people predicting $1,000 a month each, we're going to do $300 million of volume volume per year. If we have 200,000 people, 1,000 a month, we're going to do about $2.4 billion in volume. With 3.5% going back to the company. So like, I think it's a good revenue generator. And we already have 100,000 signups on points. So we just have to convert them to USDC now.
And it's more like like Myriad from like a building up perspective is like, it's just a tech. Like once you put like, it's not that much like, do you have to have so much like resources for Myriad in itself? Like even on top of them? What does that look like?
I mean, we ended up acquiring, it's not in there because we bought them too. We ended up, acquiring the whole team that was building Myriad for us. So everything's in-house in Portugal. Okay. Yeah, so we have like 12, 15 devs, and that's not enough. We built the whole prediction market ourselves back last March. It took a whole year to get to where we are, bro. People don't realize it's expensive as fuck. You have to have devs, bro. And we have 15 devs, and it's still not enough. We need 50. I swear to God, we are understaffed as fuck, but we're bootstrapping. We don't have millions of dollars, though. We don't have a lot of money at this company. You know what I mean? And we're doing our best every day. And we're building like 100% company, 200% company. But we're managing to do the thing, right?
As we come into the end, firstly, what are you most excited for under Myriad Markets or your whole ecosystem in the next 6 months?
Man, it's just like the US money markets, right? And I put a list the other day of everything that's coming out on Myriad. It's actually wild. Like we have money markets coming out and just the growth of this platform, dude. That's all I care about. It's just like, I want to get everybody predicting. And the cool thing about Myriad, we have 100,000 signups. You don't see it every day on CT, though you see it a lot. The mind share is really starting to grow big time. But it's regular people that use it because it's easy sign up, right? Third web, blah, blah, bang, sign up. And these people come into me like, oh, Myriad, I'm predicting on this thing. I love it. I love it. People love that.
It is such a great, I love prediction markets myself. Like it's such a nice way to get further involved and with whatever it might be. And like when there's stuff on the line, you just have more attachment to whatever that event is.
Yeah, it's more than just about money. It's about reputation too, right? It's like proving that you're right.
Yeah, the social status you get for getting it right. But final two questions that I like to ask a lot of people on here is, one, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Be the person everybody wants to work with. My first mentor, Steve, was 18 years old or 20, I forget. Persian guy from LA, extremely successful man, family, everything. Like he was like a role model. And I used to always get offended when people would lowball me on Instagram. I was like, oh, fuck you, you're not a good client. And he's like, yo, Farokh, be the person everybody wants to work with. And everyone who asks me this, it's the same thing. And that's what I want to be, you know? And a lot of people want to work with us. Yeah,
I would say you're doing a pretty good job on that. And then the final question is one resource that you found the most valuable. It could be someone you follow on Twitter. It could be a book. It could be one podcast that you've listened to that really changed your perspective. Just one resource that you pretty much, you found very valuable in terms of, learning.
I was never a big podcast. It's funny. I create. I don't consume. I don't even listen to my own shit. I was never a big reader. I can't tell you. I was forced to read in school.
And you're a lawyer, which takes so much reading.
I actually hate I don't like seeing like I don't like taking advice too much from how people did their thing, because I want to create my own path. So it's almost like I take advice from myself, but by studying others in a way. Like, I want to be great. I like what Bernard Arnault is doing. I want to be him, like him. I want to build an empire, you know? I guess a lot of mentors, good friends. I look up to people, you know? I look up to people who have a good family ties, build a good business, that are happy. I couldn't point you to one resource, but, you know, look around me and look at my friends and you'll probably find the right resource. You know, that's how I see it. You know, I'm inspired by my friends over by a celebrity.
That's very refreshing. I think it kind of gives kudos to like, it also gives kudos to who you surround yourself by. I think as I'm like growing up and like kind of navigating life, I found like that's one of the big things. It's just
I'm my friend's biggest fan. They know that. I love my friends. You know, I'm a good friend. But like I want to be inspired by my friends. You know?
Yeah, it gives you so much more energy when you're surrounded by people that you look at it and you're like, damn, you're killing it. So that makes me want to kill it. Like, gives you that whole new energy. And that's why I love coming to these conferences, because like I'll see people people I'm close with them. I'm like, man, you're killing it. Like, I'll see like the Pudgy team, you're killing it. I'll go to all of these.
Yeah, see Luca. I like him. He's a friend. I love him, you know, like stuff like that.
So inspiring. But yeah, I think that's an amazing piece of advice. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on.
We did it.
We did it. Finally. Very, very exciting. And yeah, so excited to see what you do over the next few years, man. A huge inspiration for a lot in the space, including myself.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you very much, man.
Appreciate it, bro.